Hey guys, how's it going? Uh, as everybody knows, the last 2 weeks or so has been pretty crazy. There's been a lot going on, and I've been pretty quiet about it because I've just been watching the situation and looking at how things are playing out. As of right now, we've got like 507 confirmed cases and 14 deaths here in my state. Schools are shut down, colleges are shut down, businesses are shutting down left and right, restaurants are shutting down, takeout or drive-through only. Stores are for the most part shutting down with the exception of grocery stores, and most of those are out of stock on a lot of items. What they do have, they're limiting quantities. And it's just crazy. It's hard to believe we're living in times like these, because this is what you would expect to see in a movie or read about in a book, but here we are, we're living this crap. So it's surreal. It really is surreal, and doesn't seem, I don't know, it just doesn't seem real at all. But as bad as things are, cities on lockdown, states on lockdown, National Guard being mobilized in several states to assist with the virus. As bad as it looks right now, I hate to say that I believe it's going to get a lot worse. Maybe not so much in the realm of the virus itself. Granted, we're still not doing a lot of testing in this country, so the infection rate in this country, the numbers, I'm almost positive they're a lot higher than what we're seeing, simply because of the lack of testing. And as the testing progresses, you're going to see those numbers really start to climb. And with those numbers, I'm sure you're going to see some deaths as well. But what really troubles me is the economic situation, that the effects this is having on our economy. All of these businesses shut down, and let me get something here real quick I wanted to read off. All of these businesses shutting down, and I'm talking about everything from major corporations, billion-dollar companies, all on down to the small mom-and-pop businesses, the single-owner businesses. It's impacting everybody. For several months, actually, it started around September. The Fed repo window was opened to the banks, loaning the banks money every single day, because they were starting to have problems with liquidity and being able to have the funds to cover all of their customers' required transactions. So they've been going to the banks have been going to the Fed repo window asking for money, and the Fed has been loaning out money to the banks, billions of dollars a day, as much as $100 billion a day, and that's not sufficient for the banks to get by on, because every day they keep coming back for more and more and more. And this has been going on since September, before the virus came up. So you add in the virus and having to shut down all of these businesses, send everybody home, which in my case, I'm still working. My business hasn't even considered shutting down yet, but there's a lot of businesses that have. People are getting laid off. They're simply because they're not, the businesses, the companies they work for, don't have enough business coming in to justify the expense of the employees. So you've got all of these companies that are in turn looking to the federal government, in addition to the banks that were getting hundreds of billions of dollars a day in loans. But to give you an idea of some of the crap going on, and this is just a very small fraction, the U.S. restaurant trade groups, they're requesting $450 billion in aid. The National Restaurant Associations have indicated their sales will take a hit of about $225 billion. The American Hotel and Travel Industry have requested $250 billion in aid. U.S. Conference of Mayors have requested in the neighborhood of $250 billion in aid to help fight the virus. Boeing. Boeing is a joke in itself. They were facing problems with their planes, the MAX 8s, because of the problem with them crashing. And now they're looking to the government for a bailout to keep their doors open. They're asking for $60 billion, just that one company. Airlines have requested somewhere around $50 billion. The Native American gambling industry is looking for about $18 billion in aid from the federal government. Airports, they're looking for about $10 billion. Amtrak is asking for $1 billion. I've been seeing and hearing numbers about jobless claims being 10 times what they were this time last year. There's a sudden spike in jobless claims, obviously because of all these businesses are shutting down. It's my belief that you're going to see those claims skyrocket. We're seeing something in the neighborhood of 200,000 a day in certain areas, which is a staggering amount of jobs. And if you consider that's just one area, you multiply that across the United States, we could be looking at millions out of work in the next month or so. Steve Mnuchin has said that the unemployment rate could get possibly as high as 20%. Some of the numbers I'm seeing right now, I expect it to go a little bit above that. It wouldn't surprise me. But those are numbers that are in line with the Great Depression. And people are hesitant to use those words. They're hesitant to bring up the Depression. But it's my belief that, and it all depends on how long these shutdowns last, how long it takes to come up with a vaccine for this virus and get everything under control. But it took China, 3 months or so? And here we've only been dealing with it for, a month? So we've still got another 2 months to go in this, at the least. If you can trust the numbers out of China, which there again, I don't believe you can. I really don't believe you can. I believe a lot of that has been manipulated. But depending on how long these shutdowns last, if it only shuts down another month or so, that's bad enough. But if we end up having to shut everything down for 2 months, 3 months, that will be devastating to our economy. It's going to have a ripple effect that we're going to feel for a very, very long time. You know, it's really almost hard to comprehend that the country's facing this right now. And, you know, I'm not going to get into real deep into all the shutdowns. A lot of people are saying it's overreacting. And a lot of people are failing to understand the real reason behind these shutdowns and the social distancing and everything. It all comes down to the fact that it's an attempt to prevent or slow the advance of this virus. And by doing so, prevent our healthcare system from being completely overwhelmed and overloaded in the way that the healthcare system in Italy has been. In my town, we have one hospital in my town, and then we got one in the next town over. The hospital in my town only has about 154 beds. And as contagious as this virus is, the numbers that we're seeing, while it may not be a world-ending or an extinction-level virus, if everybody gets sick all at one time and swarm the hospitals, there's just no way our healthcare system has the capacity and the resources to handle that kind of demand. And that's the whole purpose of these shutdowns, is to slow down the spread of the virus enough so our healthcare system is not overloaded. I mean, we don't want to see hospital tents set up in parking lots or in gymnasiums and things like that. It may end up coming to that regardless, but we don't want our healthcare professionals having to choose between who lives and who dies because they don't have the resources needed to treat everybody. And that's just the simple fact of it. But that's getting a little off of what I wanted to talk about. Getting back to my main concern is the economic impact of this. With all of these shutdowns, if this drags out, we could be looking at a second Great Depression. I've been thinking about that for a while, and I'm hoping we can avoid it. And this is just a really bad recession, but we're already back to the point that we were in 2008 financially, as far as the stock market and everything. We've dropped that far. We're back to that point. And you think about all this money that these companies are looking for bailouts, and then you add into that the stimulus packages that the government's trying to put together. We're at what, $1.3 trillion stimulus package, and I'm expecting that to probably double before it's over with. Where's that money coming from? I mean, this country is already severely in debt as it is, and then we're adding all of this onto it. So I think some very, very difficult times are coming, and we need to be ready. I know that's what I'm focused on right now. I'm less worried about contracting the virus and getting sick as I am the aftermath of the virus. And that's what I'm focusing on. And I would suggest that you consider how that would impact your life and take whatever steps you can to lessen the impact. You're going to feel it regardless, but while we can, we need to do what we can while we have resources available. To that end, and what I mentioned yesterday when I was reviewing the tack pack that I got, some of the things that I'm doing, I enjoy getting the boxes in, but right now I think it's very critical that I save every penny I can, and when I do spend the money, I spend it on something that has a major impact on my life. To that end, I've canceled all of my subscription boxes. I haven't canceled survival boxes because they were reorganizing and coming up with a new lineup of subscription boxes, and they were already going to put shipments on hold because of that. But then I checked the website yesterday, and they've already updated it with the coronavirus. They're not going to ship anything while we're dealing with the coronavirus, because all the suppliers for survival items, they're all sold out. And even if they weren't sold out, plants are shutting down left and right. So the the products are just not there. So they're not. They said on their website that due to the coronavirus, they're not shipping any packages or products in the interim. So however long that lasts is however long it lasts. That's why I haven't canceled my subscription with them. I'm not getting charged for it right now. So it's like it's already on hold. As far as my other ones, Tac Pack, I've canceled it. I think yesterday's was my last box. I've canceled Gear Pack, but I think I've been charged for one more box. I'll get one more from them, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think there's one more box coming from that. So I'm going to direct that money into other areas, food and other resources and savings, to help get me by through these, what I believe are some very hard times coming. I'm about to start work on my garden. I gotta run a water line out to my garden so I can control the irrigation a little bit better than I did the last few years. I want to be able to have a little bit more control and flexibility on that, so that's one project I'll be doing, and I may do a video on that. But I'm really amping up the garden this year. Right now I'm in the process of getting plants together and getting seeds together so I can do that. I'm going to start planting here pretty soon, and I'll go over all those in the videos. I have a small pot forge that I've been using to forge knives and things. I've used it for 6-7 years now. It's falling apart, and I've made some money making knives and other items. But what I want to do, I've had a project on the back burner for making a new forge, and I think it's time I finally get off my butt and actually get it done. So that's something I'm going to be doing here in the next month or so. I'm going to start construction of that new forge. I've got some modifications to my workshop that I'm going to be doing. Just things like that, things that can help provide food or income options like that, and provide me a little bit more resiliency in my life. I'm cutting any unnecessary expenses I can. If it's not needed, I'm letting it go, because like I said, I'm really hoping it's not going to be that bad. But I would rather be prepared for the worst and it not happen than not prepare for it and we end up going through something like the Depression of the 30s, which was bad then, when people knew how to be self-sufficient and resilient. But in today's culture, where everything is about convenience, something of that nature would be so much harder these days. And I'm wanting to do what I can to prepare my own family for that, just in case it gets that bad. Like I said, hopefully it won't, but I would rather err on the side of caution. If it doesn't get that bad, I haven't really lost anything. I can always pick up all these luxuries later on and restart them. But yeah, that's where my thinking is. Where I'm headed in the next few weeks and months is it's going to be more towards my garden, building resiliency in my life, using food storage, saving money any way I can, and just being prepared for whatever comes. If you're in the stock market, I wouldn't necessarily say get out right now, because the bottom's already fell out, so you'd already be selling at a loss if you have anything there. But I do believe it will rebound at some point. I don't know when. It could be a year, 2 years from now. I do believe that when it does rebound, that will be some very good opportunities if you're into investing. And I believe even if this does become the second Great Depression, it's going to provide opportunities for those who are open-minded enough to see them and be ready for them. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on where I see things going. I'm trying to look ahead as far as I can, and like I said, I could be wrong. You know, I'll be the first to tell you if I'm wrong. I'll admit to it. But and God knows I hope I am wrong about this, but I think we have some difficult times ahead, and I hope everybody's doing what they can to get ready for it. I know I am, and that's kind of the direction my channel is going to be taking. I'm going to be doing more on food storage, growing food, maybe some fishing and stuff like that, hunting, just things like that. That's pretty much where my channel is going here over the next year or so. Anyway, I'm about to head out of here. I just got off work a few minutes ago, so I'm about to head out of here. I got some stops to make, and then I'm going home, and then I got some stuff to get into. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.